And I'm very happy to be here today, sharing this stage with these friends. I wanted to talk a little bit about before we start about our session, new mobility technology improvements and programs in Florida. In transportation, as transportation professionals, we really do our best, right, to solve our transportation challenges and to translate what we get to see as we're doing studies or we're implementing projects to solve the transportation problems. One of the things that we have learned in the past few years is that engineers and planners are not so good communicating. And while we have all of these solutions and all of this new technology out there, we really need to get better at communicating and translating what we're seeing in the field and what we're seeing in our studies so that we can get the best feedback from the public. I have been an engineer for the past 24 years. I'm getting older. But I lost my hair before I started engineering, so that's a good thing. And I have seen how everything has changed in a way that is going to transform the world and in a way that it has transformed Florida. And technology is an important component of that. And because of technology, communication as well. And all of these different aspects and things that we have today that we can use as tools to solve the transportation challenges. Today, I have the pleasure to share this stage with two of my best friends in transportation. I can tell you that these two are the ones that I like the most, at least for the next 20 minutes. I'm going to start with my friend Lisa Colmenares. So Lisa Colmenares holds a master's in urban regional planning from Florida Atlantic University, and she's a PhD candidate from what university?
Walden University.
She's a candidate. You know what that means, that she's about to finish. Lisa, can you give a brief introduction about yourself quickly?
Thank you so much, Jose. And we are very excited to be here with all of you today. And I'm very honored and humbled to be sharing the stage with two great colleagues and friends of mine that I've been working with for the past at least 20 years, I want to say. I'm Lisa Colmenares, and I am the Chief Planning Officer for Miami-Dade County Department of Transportation and Public Works. I might say that this position was created by our director and CEO, Ulyss Clegg, and our mayor. And I'm the first chief planning officer serving in this capacity now for a year. My anniversary was on January 31st. And I have an outstanding team serving with me. In my capacity, I have service planning, scheduling, and passenger amenities. I also have multimodal transportation and infrastructure planning. So everything for all of the modes of transportation for including freight, bicycle and pedestrian. We also look at transit and we look at roadway. So we look at how all of these modes work with each other. And we look at planning, feasibility, all the way to design to 30%. So that's
perfect.
My role.
And our next guest is Michelle Gonzalez. She's a planner and she's the director of transportation and parking at City of St. Pete Beach. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michelle Gonzalez again. I've been working in local government and government in total for about 10 years now. I started my career working with Lisa at FDOT and has since then grown and shifted into the local government aspect. I worked as a transportation manager for the town of Miami Lakes, and now I'm the community development director for the city of St. Pete Beach, managing transportation, parking, building services, and code enforcement.
Now, for this session, what we did is that we asked a lot of people for feedback to get some questions. So I have those questions here, some surprises for the guests. They're going to be very surprised in a minute. And for me to be a little bit closer, I'm going to use one of their microphones to read those questions so that I can sit down with them. And I'm going to start with Lisa. Question number one. I keep hearing the term mobility revolution. Can you explain that a little bit more and describe what your agency is doing to embrace this?
Excellent. Thank you. Great question, Jose. So mobility revolution, I guess that I would dare to say that it's more about how we have the different modes work with each other and also adapt to technology. We want to make sure that we have the different modes talking to each other and that we adapt to growth in our region. We learned a lot of lessons with COVID-19 and how people were commuting to work, and we've seen some changes and shift. We also saw some drop in ridership. Now we're seeing that ridership come back. So we're very happy to report that we are seeing some of those riders coming back to our system, and Metro Rail, Metro Mover, and bus. And just to give you some of those numbers, we are seeing 170,000 bus riders currently in bus, Metro Rail more than 45,000, and in Mover over 17,000, and in our paratransit services over 4,000. So we also see that working with our partners is very important, or as we call in our revolution, the opening of the Brightline station is certainly revolutionary to move a lot of our commuters from the Northeast. I'm actually a user of this service, and I don't have to sit on the Golden Glades for hours, so I could just take the Brightline and get to downtown in 22 minutes or under 22 minutes. So we see that as we collaborate with partners and we make these services available and people know about them, we could see a shift in how we move. So our agency is working closely with our partners. We are, as an agency, working on the first ever transportation master plan for Miami-Dade County. Believe it or not, we did not have one. A lot of our municipal partners like Miami Beach, Miami, Doral, even the small municipalities like Cutler Bay, Palmetto Bay, Miami Lakes, where Michelle comes from, they had their master plans, but now we're having a comprehensive master plan for all of Miami-Dade County, and we are working along our partners. We had a big municipal workshop in November, and we're also working on reducing fatalities and severe injuries with a Vision Zero plan, so we can make our roads safer. So our action agenda is to make, which we call our Shift 305, is to make everything more efficient, connected, safer, and cleaner, or more resilient. So we have resilient infrastructure that can adapt to any changes in severe storms, events, or even events like pandemics.
So at the local level, for the city of St. Pete Beach, we really look at this mobility revolution as how can we best serve our community and what are the needs for our local residents and the visitors alike. We are a small barrier island, about 2.2 square miles, and we have about 9,000 residents permanently. But in the peak season, when we're visiting, which is about to start shortly in a couple of weeks, we could go up to double to 20,000 with visitors alike, and a lot of snowbirds that come visit us. And being a beachside community, what do people want to do? They want to walk, ride bike, enjoy the sun, and it's more of a leisure type of community. One of the biggest challenges that we have that we're looking to hurdle is how to make the road safer, more friendly, bring in different alternative options, because we want to become a city that people don't need to have a car to come. You can fly in, take an Uber from the airport, get to St. Pete Beach, and when you're there, you have plenty of options to go around. And that comes with that we brought microtransit in the form of, we have Freebie, which a lot of the South Florida communities have that service. We brought that on board. We're looking to bring in micromobility providers into the city, and then we're looking at expanding our Complete Streets network. In addition, our main corridor is a state road, it's Gulf Boulevard, and that really, when it was first built, was designed really around just the car. There was not really much attention to detail that was given to how do pedestrians and cyclists and everybody else who engages in our community move around. And our community really, like, that street is just at the heart of it. You have all the large hotels, you have the beach right behind it. Across the street is shopping, is restaurants, and it's not really a place that you would go in a beachside community and feel safe. We have 5-foot sidewalks, 4-foot bike lane, and we've had over the past couple of years a lot of pedestrian fatalities. And a big movement for us is looking at Vision Zero, but also looking at technology and embracing the change in the future of how we can make it better and safer for people to move.
Thank you. Great answer. This is for this again. What new mobility and technology has your agency introduced into the county's network? And what does the future looks like?
Thank you for that question. One of the things that we have done, our director has restructured our department. We do have a chief innovation officer, which is Carlos Cruz Casas. I'm sure a lot of you know Carlos. And his team has been bringing and working with our partners to bring some innovations. Some of them is looking at how we can collaborate with our partners to bring data platforms that different agencies like Tri-Rail or even our local municipalities can leverage that technology and work together with us so we can leverage that data. And then we're also looking at continuing to work with our municipalities. We have a lot of municipalities similar to St. Pete Beach on the West Coast, but here in Miami-Dade, we have 34 municipal partners, and they all have different provision of first last mile, including freebie, and we ourselves, Miami-Dade County, uses a Go Connect. So we leverage those first last mile connections, and we also have the dockless scooters that are available and unincorporated Miami-Dade County, which we are responsible for, and also coordinating those different first last mile from our different transit hubs as we're implementing our strategic Miami Rapid Transit program. We have gone from a plan to a program as we're implementing our different corridors throughout Miami-Dade County.
In terms of collaborating with partners, we're working with our neighboring municipality to the north is Treasure Island. One of the things that we share in common is that Gulf Boulevard transverses both through our communities at the heart, and there's a lot of safety in there. So we found it in partnership with our MPO and FDOT to conduct a Vision Zero study, which is also looking at technology. How can we prioritize and make micromobility safer in this built environment that is constricted? In addition, we also have worked with some private vendors and collaborations. We did a parking sensor pilot where we added over 700 parking sensors around the beach time. And one of the drives that we're trying to do is make, you go to the beach, parking's always an issue. Where to find parking? Everyone wants to get there. You better get there at 9 a.m. It's stressful, So we're trying to get more technology available to share with the community and our beachgoers, our day trippers, so they don't have to be circling around, driving, creating congestion and traffic, looking for parking spaces. So we partnered with a vendor, and we have an app. We've also promoted it on our website. Our website last year had over 30,000 hits with the parking app. And then we are working with our mobile payment providers. So one of ours is Park Mobile, and we've integrated and pushed that data to the Park Mobile. So if you have a Park Mobile app and you're coming to pay for the beach, you can also access that information. And it goes to helping with trying to park once and then move around with the transit services we have, micromobility, and encompassing all of that as one whole system.
And I want to be very honest, because I'm a user too, and I live in Miami, and I live in the Brickell area. And as soon as I moved to Brickell, I started saving a lot of money because I didn't have a vehicle and I didn't have to have one. And I was very surprised to see how much transportation options, how many, we have freebie, we have Metro Mover, Metro Rail, we have so many options that we never hear about. And maybe we're not doing a great job with that, right? Maybe it has to do with communication. So the third question has to do with that. So we see all of this technology and all of these options in Miami-Dade County. Why do you think that people don't know about them, and why do they continue depending so much in the vehicle? And just in an example, in my case, I remember that when I stopped using vehicles, I was saving about $1,200 per month per vehicle. So it's a huge cost that sometimes we're not aware of. So I'm going to start with you this time.
Oh, well, Miami-Dade County being a Miami native, that's a transplant to Tampa, I really think it's a culture of habit. I mean, it's one of the things that when you look at it, it's like it's easier to just move around in your car. But I think if you translate the time savings and the more of the communication efforts to people, I think microtransit's great is your local community. It's not maybe the best way to transverse across multiple jurisdictions. So is a local government, promoting more of that, educating the community. One of the things when we worked in Miami Lakes that was a great service was for our elderly residents who are at a disadvantage. As you get older, you can't drive and move around as easily. And it was a great service, and it still is a great service to provide them equitable means so that they don't have to be dependent on their family. And it takes a lot more community outreach engagements. We did workshops. We taught, our users how to use a freebie app, how to request rides. So kind of hosting informational sessions with the community. In St. Pete Beach, we do that with our library services. We partner up with them on the transportation side and communicate to our residents who are interested and come out and we'll teach you how to use this. Parking for our parking sensors, getting that information. A great way was we made parking sleeves for when you got your ticket and you parked in the wrong spot because we have residential permits. Well, next time, here's where to park, download our app. So kind of getting, thinking of unique ways and simple as a little pamphlet or setting up a meeting, going out to your HOAs, your organizations, and just putting that effort. It's one of the things I think we kind of oversee, but when you're in the local government, you're really more involved with your residents, with your constituents, and just taking the time, and putting that effort. But it's not difficult to translate that information, and people are always willing to hear it. And when you talk to them, they're like, "Wow, I didn't know that. That's so great." And it's a positive thing you could also hear because we always get the complaints on our side. So when you're able to give information on something positive, it's also rewarding too.
Awesome. And Lisa?
And I agree with that. I believe that as we receive a complaint or a suggestion from residents, and we receive many that may be on a transit location, a transit stop, or maybe on the use on a certain service. And sometimes the best thing to do is collaborate with your partners. Maybe we can provide a direct door-to-door, but maybe a municipality can. A municipality can provide a freebie, or they can provide a shuttle for that resident. And then we can provide those longer services to go maybe downtown or somewhere else. So sometimes it's because the residents maybe are not aware of those services. So as we're moving into the transportation master plan, one of the things that we have targeted is to have those planning areas in Miami-Dade and work with the municipality. So that way we can make those residents aware of what are the different options available to them. And a lot of the municipalities cross those jurisdictional boundaries, as you were mentioning. So for example, Sunny Isles Beach goes to Aventura, North Miami Beach as well, and even municipalities in Broward, Hallandale serves Aventura, and so forth. So as long as the residents know that these options are available to them, it makes it easier for all partners to work together and collaborate to provide these options.
I'm really done with the questioning, but I want to ask one surprise question, one more question if I have a little bit of time. How much time do I have? Okay. So it goes like this. 10 years from now, when you look back, let me take it a little bit further. When you're done with your careers, you're about to retire, it's just your last day at work. How would you like to see our transportation system, and how do you see all of this new technology changing the story? I know it's a very difficult question, but it's very simple, right? Because it has to do with your vocation. I'm gonna start with Lisa. How do you see that? You're about to retire, it's your last day, and you are looking back and you're like, wow, this actually happened. How do you see it?
Okay, I think needs change, but I think initially I would like to see a better collaboration between our partners as we work together to implement these projects. And I would like to see a lot of these projects that we're all working so hard to be implemented. Even if we could get 40% of these projects implemented, it would be a great charge. I think that it would help Miami-Dade County move to the next level. And we are a global city. We are seeing a lot of growth, not only in Miami, but in all of Florida. And we want to make sure that we can accommodate for that growth so we can continue being that global hub. So I want to see us be, seen as the best provider of transportation services. That is our mission here in Miami-Dade County.
So, ideally, I want to see autonomous vehicles. Come on, who wants to drive anymore? But I see it as, more of a shared, connected network. A single private ownership of vehicles is going to basically phase out as you see upcoming autonomous vehicles. So, one of the things where we're not going to look into building more parking garages in St. Pete Beach to address the beach, because people are like, why don't you build a parking garage? And we're not looking at it because looking down the line with connected vehicles, shared technology, alternative mobilities, micromobilities, nobody's going to be needing to sit and park at a car all day. Cars are going to be circulating, picking up different people. Their uses are going to change from what we see it. And that's how I see the future envisioning. So looking at how we can improve mobility now, which is what we're looking at, but also adapting to the future. One thing I think is going to be more of the regional agencies taking that leap, moving forward. How are stop signs going to work, connecting to to vehicles? How are all that? So I would like to see a future where we can get to that point, and everybody's obviously collaborating at different levels, but the sky's the limit. So I'm very excited for that.
Oh, and go ahead, Lisa.
And the other thing is that I think that we do see a lot of our younger generations, they go study in Chicago or they go to New York, and then they want to stay there. They want to get jobs up north because they're like, we don't want to drive. Oh, it's so far to go from Aventura to Cutler Bay, or I need a car. So I do want to see those that talent that went to school up north come back here and be like, oh, we want to go to Miami because we have great connections, we have great jobs, we have, we do have the great jobs, but how to connect to all of those places so we can attract all of that talent back here.
Great. Well, I think we have concluded our questioning. I see that we have a little bit of time left. Do we want to have We're good? We're good? Okay, well, thank you so much. And I really want to thank Lisa and Michelle. I am so happy that we had this conversation today. And I hope we have more opportunities like this so that we can communicate better with all of you and the public. Thank you so much.